Dreaming of a better sleep? Tossing and turning is not your destiny. And Ollie is here to help. Ollie invites you to sink into sweet, sweet slumber to improve your mental and physical health and overall wellness. More than just melatonin, Ollie's ingredients help you unwind your mind for a delightfully dreamy drift off. Sleep is on the way at Ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
It is Wednesday, March 20th. I'm Caroline Vincent, once again in for Ike Morgan. This is Down in Alabama. First up, we have news out of the State House. Alabama passed a wide-ranging bill banning college DEI programs, otherwise known as diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, as well as training on the matter. After days of lengthy debate and effort to ban diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in Alabama state institutions will now head to the governor's desk. The bill, SB 129, authored by Senator Will Barfoot, asks for sweeping changes or cancellations to state agencies and public colleges that currently fund DEI offices and programming. It is not clear yet whether the bill will force some state colleges, which support a combined $16 million in diversity spending, to lay off staff. The bill bans any program that, quote, advocates for a divisive concept. It also would prohibit higher education institutions from allowing individuals to use a restroom that is different from their sex assigned at birth. The House of Representatives passed an amended version of the bill on March 7th. The Senate approved the changes Tuesday afternoon on a 25-4 vote. It will now head to Governor Kay Ivey's desk. If signed, changes go into effect on October 1st. Tuesday evening, the ACLU of Alabama called the legislation a blow for the activists, students, and everyday Alabamians who protested the bill and others throughout the legislative session. Public colleges also are preparing for changes on campuses. In a message to students and faculty Tuesday evening, presidents of the University of Alabama System's 3 campuses said leadership and legal counsel are working to determine what actions the campuses will need to take to ensure their programs are in compliance with the law if the bill is signed by Ivey. Moving along, the remains of an Alabama soldier killed in World War II were positively identified nearly 80 years after his death. The remains of Noah C. Reeves, an Alabama man who was killed during World War II, were declared non-recoverable in 1951 following several investigations. But in 2022, his remains were positively identified nearly 80 years after Reeves, a 26-year-old Army private, was reported killed in action in Germany on December 6, 1944. The Moulton resident, who was assigned to Company F, 2nd Battalion, 28th Infantry Regiment, 8th Infantry Division in the European Theater during World War II, was fighting German forces when he was reported killed in action on December 6, 1944. But members of Reeves' unit were unable to recover his body from the Germans before fighting resumed, and his remains were unaccounted for after the war. Reeves was originally declared non-recoverable in 1951, and so his name is recorded on the walls of the missing at Netherlands American Cemetery, along with others missing from World War II. In light of the identification, a rosette will be placed next to his name to indicate he has been accounted for. More news out of the State House. The plan for an Alabama lottery and other state-regulated gambling apparently will not advance in the legislature this week. Representative Chris Blackshear, the House sponsor of the plan, said the House is in the early stages of reviewing the extensive changes the Senate made to the legislation 2 weeks ago. Lawmakers returned to Montgomery on Tuesday after taking last week off. Blackshear's bills, which passed the House on February 15th, would allow voters to decide whether to authorize a lottery, legal sports betting, and up to 10 casinos. The Senate version, approved March 7th, kept the lottery but does not include sports betting. It is up to the House to decide whether to concur with the Senate plan or send the legislation to a conference committee to try to arrive at a compromise that both chambers can approve. For our last story today, we're asking, why did Coca-Cola Bottling clear 105 acres next to Interstate 2059? Bulldozers this past week have been clearing 105 acres south of the Tallapoosa Street exit, moving dirt and knocking down trees on a highly visible site east of W.C. Patton Park along I-2059. Travelers headed east out of downtown Birmingham can't miss all the activity, so what's going on? The land is owned by Coca-Cola Bottling Company, which currently operates from a distribution center at 4600 Eastlake Boulevard, overlooking the Birmingham Shuttlesworth Airport. Coca-Cola Bottling United has continued to upgrade its facilities on Eastlake Boulevard, but has run out of room there. The property between 40th and 42nd Street North at 4000 Richard Arrington Boulevard was from 1914 to 1997 the campus of Stockham Valves and Fittings, a company founded in Birmingham in 1903 that became one of the nation's largest producers of valves and pipe fittings for heavy industry. The Birmingham City Council on Tuesday voted to vacate the right-of-ways on the property so Coca-Cola Bottling could consolidate its property. Coca-Cola Bottling is not yet announcing details of what may be built there on the property. For all of these stories and more, make sure to head to AL.com for your news. Also, make sure to check your podcast feeds tomorrow morning. I'll be back there for tomorrow's edition of Down in Alabama.